Reading is very time consuming, right? Wrong. People often ask me how I managed to read so many textbooks and non-fiction books in so little time. Well, the answer is simple. I read fast. Let's face it. Most of us are not taught how to read non-fiction books in school. What we are taught to do is absorbing every single word and getting lost in the details. But this approach is slow and frankly unnecessary. The key to conquering non-fiction is to understand its purpose. It's not about passively consuming every sentence as you would in a captivating novel. It's about actively extracting the valuable information that you need. Imagine a book like a treasure chest. It has a lot of pebbles and a few gems mixed in between. Your job is to identify these gems quickly and efficiently. You should not sit around and meticulously polish every single pebble. On the whole, this means that you should ditch your linear reading style. Forget starting on page 1 and forcing yourself to the last page. Instead, embrace a more strategic, detective-like approach. We'll be talking about this in detail in the rest of the video, but for now, just remember, ditch the school mentality and treat non-fiction reading as a mission to uncover valuable knowledge. We all have a never-ending to-be-read list that stretches as far as the eye can see. Articles, emails, newsletters, blogs. The constant influx of information can be overwhelming. But before you get sucked into a reading vortex of despair, let's talk about triage. Think of your reading pile as an overflowing emergency room. There are critical patients, for example, articles for school or work, and there are those patients that can wait. For example, let's say a fascinating blog about the history of buttons. Just like doctors prioritize saving lives, you need to prioritize reading material that will have the most significant impact on reaching your goals. Here's the trick. Get crystal clear on your why. What are you hoping to achieve by reading? Once you know your goals, ruthlessly evaluate each piece of content. Does it directly contribute to your objectives? If not, consider putting it aside for later or even skipping it. Remember, your time is important and non-fiction reading is all about having the greatest return on investment. Imagine walking into a grocery store with a specific recipe in mind. Suddenly, you're laser focused on the ingredient list, effortlessly scanning through shelves and identifying the exact items that you need. That's the power of priming and action. The same principle applies to reading. Before you dive into a book, take a minute or two to prime your brain for success. This involves setting some ground rules. What do you expect to achieve out of this reading session? Here's a powerful technique. Grab a pen and paper and jot down 8 to 10 questions that you want the book to answer for you. Are you looking for specific solutions to a problem? Hoping to learn a new skill? Writing down these questions act as a map for your brain, helping it identify the most relevant information present in the book. Think of it like searching the internet. When you type a specific query into a search engine, you're priming it to find exactly what you need. The same goes for reading. By setting clear intentions and priming your brain with questions, you'll be amazed to see how quickly you can navigate through the text and find nuggets of knowledge. Ever notice that little voice inside your head narrate every single word that you read? That, my friends, is subvocalization. And it's a major speed bump on the highway of speed reading. We all learn to read this way as children, but as adults, this becomes a major thief of our reading speed. Why? Because our brain can process visual information much faster than we can speak it. Think about it. You can instantly recognize a familiar face, but it will take you a lot longer to describe every single feature verbally. So how do we silence this inner narrator? The first step is awareness. Pick up some reading material right now or pause the video and read the text on the screen. Pay attention to what's happening inside your mind. Are you silently pronouncing each word? Once you identify the culprit, it's time to break this habit. The good news is, your brain is incredibly adaptable. Simply start reading faster. As you pick up the pace, you'll slowly start outpacing the voice inside your head till it can no longer keep up. It might seem strange at first, but trust the process. You'll be surprised at how quickly your brain adjusts and starts absorbing information visually without the need of silent narrating. There are even some fun online tools to help you ditch subvocalization. Websites like Reader offer exercises that flash words or phrases on the screen at increasingly faster rates. By training your eyes to take in larger chunks of text at a time, you'll break free from the shackles of subvocalization and unlock a new level of reading. Our eyes are visual powerhouses, capable of absorbing a lot more information than we give them credit for. Most of us focus on a single word at a time, like a small spotlight dragging across the page. But the slow, methodical approach is unnecessarily limiting. Imagine if you could take in entire phrases or even sentences at a glance. That's the magic of expanding your visual field. By training your eyes to absorb groups of 3 to 5 words at a time, you can significantly increase your reading speed without sacrificing comprehension. This skill takes practice, but here are some simple exercises for you to try. Start by placing a small opaque object like a piece of paper on top of your reading material in the center of your visual field. You can even use a finger if you like, just make sure that it hides the word that you're currently reading. This forces your eyes to focus on a wider area of text. As you get more comfortable, you can increase the size of the object or use multiple fingers. But remember, expanding your visual field is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient, consistent, and celebrate your little wins. Soon you'll be devouring lines of text with a single glance. Reading shouldn't be a passive activity. It's a dynamic conversation between the reader and the author. Don't be afraid to mark up your books, jot down points or questions on the margins, or even argue with the author's points. Taking notes as you read serves two crucial purposes. First, obviously, it helps solidify the information in your mind. The act of writing something down forces you to process the key takeaways. This is much more effective than passively letting the information flow through your brain. Second, note-taking creates a treasure map for future reference. Imagine revisiting a book months later wanting to refresh your memory about a specific concept. With clear and concise notes, you can quickly locate the relevant passages without having to reread the book. And there's no right or wrong way of taking notes. Some people, like myself, prefer the traditional pen and paper approach, while others find digital note-taking apps more convenient. Experiment and find what works best for you. Remember, the key is to actively engage with the text and create a system for capturing the knowledge you gain. So there you have it. By incorporating these powerful strategies and techniques to your reading, you'll be well on your way to conquering your to-be-read pile. So after you're done subscribing and commenting the name of the book you're going to read next, put your newfound skills to the test. Happy reading.